Oscar BEVIS, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast here for the open workout as we start a fight week on a Thursday. Feels a bit weird, but yeah, Eddie Hearn joins me. How are we, Ed?
I'm good. You still got the lens on that camera.
I can see it filming. See. That's why I was keep my eye on it. You've got me before, but I'm on it today. It's weird seeing you in open workout. Why do I feel like you don't normally come to the workouts? Am I right? Or
I do come to the workouts, but obviously depending on what we've got in other countries. So this is, I'm here for a few reasons today, obviously because it's our open workout, but particularly because it's the start of the journey for Galal Yafai and Chev Clark, and also Lawrence Okoli defending his world championship at the O2. So it's a big show for us, a big fight week for a number of different reasons. Jordan Gill going for the European title, him and Gurphy look sensational. Anthony Fowler up at middleweight now, Fabio Wardley back in action, Campbell Hatton, Dempsey McKean, John Hedges. Is a huge show, and looking forward to it. I saw the O2 yesterday, still a slight hole in the roof, but it's not in the arena area. And I'm looking forward to the show on Sunday. I think it's going to be interesting to see the response.
how much pressure is there on Lawrence Okoli? Because I know we've spoken about unifications and the other guys sort of, them unifications aren't feasible at the moment, but I suppose with Lawrence kind of the only active world champion in these next couple of months, I suppose, how important is it that Lawrence doesn't just win but looks good on Sunday?
Well, this is a really tough fight, to be honest with you. I feel like Sislak is better than Gulamara in the WBA champion. I mean, he lost to Makabu on points in a decent fight. He's right up there in terms of ability. He's an elite cruiserweight. But I love this fight for Lawrence Okoli because last time out he had to fight his mandatory, who was, no disrespect, was like, how he was mandatory, I'll never know. And it's hard. Lawrence wants to unify the division. But if you can't unify the division, the next best thing is fighting the elite. And Sislak is an elite cruiserweight. He's a very, very good fighter. He's here with a good team. They believe they're going to win this fight on Sunday. And I think you're going to see the best of Lawrence Okoli. I think Shane McGuigan's done a tremendous job with him. He's punching very, very hard. I feel like he's the best cruiserweight in the world. Beating Sislak will give us an idea of that, but he still has to go through the other champions, and particularly Maris Bradis, who will be working with us on Sunday night as well in the arena. That's the natural fight to make this summer.
I know obviously it would be disappointing if Okoli is never to unify in this division, but could you argue it would be kind of disappointing if he doesn't at least have a shot to become undisputed? Because, like you said, it is kind of him and Bradis that we're looking at. Look, okay, we've got Gulamara with the WBA, but it is kind of him and Bradis we're looking at as the main two, and we would love to see them with all of the belts.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think it would be disappointing to move up to heavyweight without at least one unification. Like when you have the ability to unify the division, but you don't unify the division, it's frustrating. We see it with Demetrius Andrade. Even Kell Brook back in the day, couldn't get a shot at the other champions, had to move up and do something different. And sometimes you look back and say, I wish I would have got the opportunity to unify there. And I feel like that's how we'd be with Lawrence Okoli. So we've got to find a way to make it happen. It's not like the other champions are these huge names and you can't get them. We're just going to have to pay up, basically. But if you pay up, you'll get them. And that's what we've got to do with Lawrence. It's going to be it's going to take significant investment from us, but we believe in him, and I believe that he can go up and win a world heavyweight title as well. So I just don't want him to just become world champion and move to heavyweight when I feel like he can run through the whole division at cruiserweight, and I believe he knocks everybody out in all of those championship fights.
Are you going to see one of them Bradis push towards the ring situations if Okoli wins it?
I mean, you never know with Bradis, do you? But I'm looking forward to having him on the broadcast. I think he's going to be quite amusing. And all this Jake Paul stuff, which is mental, I mean, I guess people are talking about him, and they wouldn't be normally, but we'll see how much he talks about Lawrence Okoli on Sunday night. And that, for me, like you said, it's the natural fight. That fight tells you the number one in the division is. And that's nice to make a fight like that.
I want to quickly come on to Jordan Gill, because I feel like finally, fingers crossed nothing goes wrong the next couple of days, I said to him, finally his luck is in and he gets the fight that he's wanted for ages, and a fight he deserves as well.
It's a massive fight for Jordan Gill, and it's a tough fight as well. Gurphy's a two-weight, I'm going to sneeze in a minute. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Two-time, two-weight European champion, and was just dead at the weight at featherweight. Now moves up, at bantamweight, now moves up to featherweight. Just seen him looking really strong. But I think Jordan has so much potential. I always have done. But he's never really got the breaks. And when he got the break, he got ill. Remember, he got beat by Tanoco, and his whole career came crashing down. Now he has an opportunity on Sunday to get the victory, become European champion, and then kick on. Because I think the way Jordan's career's gone, when he wins on Sunday night, he needs to go for it, right? He needs to jump into tough fights. World Championship eliminators, take a shot at a world title, because now's the time for him. And this is a massive moment for him on Sunday. And like you said, let's just get him into the ring, because the way his luck's been over the last sort of 18 months, 2 years, has been unbelievable. And I'm really pleased to see him get his shot on Sunday.
Begging it all goes well. Galal, are you kind of, I'll say, are you nervous about, because it could seriously pay off, but it also could seriously backfire? Like an Olympian losing on his debut would be not catastrophic, but it wouldn't be a good look. So are you kind of arguably as nervous about the debut of Galal as you are for Lawrence?
I have been thinking about this, and it seemed like a great idea at the time, but when you look at Bautista, who's fighting a Mexican who's super tough, it's like, Galal is brilliant, right? Brilliant. I believe he could win a world title now. And I think he will school Bautista. But you know, when it gets to like 5 or 6 rounds in, and it's all the tension and the adrenaline of your debut, and the tank starts to empty, and you got this nutty Mexican who's basically coming forward and not stopping. That's the danger for Galal Yafai in this fight. Not that after 5 or 6 rounds he's not going to be schooling Bautista, because he will, because he's that good. But it's what happens when you get to 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, when you're just coming out of the amateurs. So I admire this move from Galal Yafai. Fight fans should admire this move from Galal Yafai, because we don't need to see Galal Yafai in 8, 6 round fights. Why? He's fought WSB, he's won Olympic gold, he's good enough to win a world title now, so let's see him move quickly and make statements. And I think this is a brilliant thing that he's doing, but also tough because of the rounds. Not tough because of his ability, but tough because of the rounds. And I'm nervous for him. But I love to see it.
Really looking forward to the Sunday night at the O2. Ed, I know Coogan done like 50 minutes with you the other day, but just in terms of potentially, have you spoken to Dillian Whyte since, and what's his reaction been to everyone else's reaction? Obviously, he's not publicly broadcasting anything, so is there anything you could tell us on his behalf, maybe?
Just, the reaction is, people said he wouldn't sign a contract. He signed a contract. I mean, he's working hard, he's training.
Is he loving that? I bet he's loving that, isn't he? The fact that he's kind of been, he won't do it and then he does do it.
No, I don't think he thinks like that. He laughed about everybody suggesting that he wouldn't fight Tyson Fury. There's still issues to sort out, which has been made public. But at the same time, he's ready to go, and it's not just a case of he's not signing a contract or he wants extra money for press conferences. No, it's a very different situation, a purse bid, to a normal commercial deal. And Dillian Whyte is going to do what's best for Dillian Whyte. He'll be there on fight night, and he's not just going to play to everybody's tune and not, probably play his own mind games as well, but he's there to win a World Heavyweight Championship. And he'll be training hard in Portugal, and he'll be preparing like a true professional.
How long do you give Tyson Fury's media blackout?
Yeah, well, it's not going very well, is it, at the moment? You've got one bloke's on a media blackout and the other one's not saying anything. So hopefully we can pick up we can get a bit more going closer to the fight, but it's a big fight for both. And like I said, Dillian's going to prepare like Dillian's going to prepare. We've had fights with Dillian before where we've wanted him to do certain things that he hasn't done because it affects his preparation. You have to respect that among fighters. So this is obviously his preparation for this fight's got to be bang on, and he's not obligated to do certain things. So he's going to do, like I said, what he needs to do to win this fight.
Ed, just in terms of what we're seeing going on in Ukraine at the moment, I know Usyk and Joshua, there have been offers from around the world, and I know Usyk was keen at some point to take a massive fight to Kiev. Obviously now that's kind of going to be unfeasible. Was there ever any possibility or anything close to anything going over there with him and AJ?
No, I mean, look, we want to do the fight in London. Spoke to Daniel Levy, would love to do it back at Spurs, but Usyk is involved in the revenue split of this show, so he wants to assess all the options from around the world, of which there are many, and we'll make a decision together on what is in the best interest of the fighters. Ukraine, obviously, not on that list. It's not that. It's just it can't generate the kind of money that even London can, and London doesn't generate anywhere near as much money as the Middle East or even potentially America. So no, definitely not on the list at the moment. But we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks.
So it was unlikely from a financial perspective anyway that Ukraine was.
Yeah.
Does it make, and I don't want to sort of get political with this interview, but do you think it can make potentially working with Russians and Ukrainians difficult? Obviously, I know Bivol could be part of the Canelo deal, and we're seeing, I know Abramovich for example, they're talking about how it could be difficult with him and working in the UK and whatnot. Does it make anything difficult for you potentially and from Russian or Ukrainian fighters?
No, I don't think so. I mean, look, for Alexander Usyk, I'm sure if there's issues in Ukraine, he'll be basing himself somewhere else for his training camp, and Dmitry Bivol's training camp is in LA. He spends a lot of his time in America. If he ends up getting the Canelo Alvarez fight, see him up, then I'm sure. I think he's actually due to arrive in America this weekend for training camp anyway. So no, I don't see that as an issue.
Just finally, a couple of purse bids today: Andrade and Parker and Zhang and Hrgovic. Just what's going to happen? Just tell me.
We lost the Andrade purse bid, I think by like 50, 60 grand. So we bid what we felt was the value of the fight. The Hrgovic one, I think, is later on today. I think in all these situations, purse bid situations, you just have to bid what you believe the value of the fight is. A bit like White and Fury. So we'll have to see what happens with those fights. And Zhang against Hrgovic, I believe, like 6 p.m. today, something like that. But we're closing in on reaching a deal with those two guys. But I think sometimes the way the market is at the moment, sometimes it suits people to go to purse bid. If you feel like you're not getting the offer that you deserve, an open market, it can bite you in the arse sometimes. But sometimes it's a good move for you.
How much involvement will you have with Demetrius and this fight with Zach Parker?
Well, he's under contract with us, so obviously we'll be promoting him. There's lots of talks about various fights that have been presented to Demetrius. This is one option, the Zach Parker one. If that's the fight he chooses to take, then definitely we'll be there.
All right, Ed, thanks for giving me some of your time, and cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.